welcome to today's Limitless Agency team call. Just went through a bunch of exciting announcements. We're off to a great start of July, and we have the coveted first ever cruise incentive trip that's right around the corner. So we just shared a bunch of information about that. We're excited. Today, we have special guest Jenny Nobles on the call. Jenny, I'm going to let you share kind of background and how it's been going lately, but I'll just say this. Jenny, in the last couple, I would say last 2 months, has just absolutely increased her production like crazy, protecting 8, 9, 10, 12 families. It seems like every single week. So Jenny, thanks for getting on. And if you want to start with kind of a background and how you got, how long you've been here and go from there.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. I got licensed like 2 years ago, and my husband is a pipeline welder. So we travel the country, and we were living in our fifth wheel camper. And I got going with this, and at the time we weren't even doing telesales. So I was going in home, doing my dial days. And like my first day in home, I sold all of my appointments and was just crushing it off the bat. And, we fell into that nasty trap of getting your commission money and spending it. So we weren't quite at the financial level of being able to just invest, $2,000 a week into leads. And it was just this roller coaster for the past 2 years of I would do really well, and then we would have to spend my commission money on bills, or we used it to go on a trip or something, and that's exactly what you're not supposed to do. So we definitely I had some mental struggles, just like working with myself. And I feel like once we got back from our wedding, I was just like at a top tier, high vibe level. And I was like, I'm ready. Like, we can do this. We're financially stable. And I know that I do not spend my commission money on anything until I feel like I have enough lead money built up in my bank account to then put a percentage of that towards personal financing. So we got back from the wedding, and I had ended up texting 500 people a day for 2 weeks from old leads from the past 2 years, hoping to get some kind of sale so I could get this going again. And I ended up selling 2 people. And then I asked for referrals from one of my clients, and she ended up giving me, it was, I think, 3 referrals to her sisters. And that was able to kickstart my business and get my leads going. And I just went all in. I got myself organized, and I've just been crushing it ever since.
I love that. So first off, you were the whole work from anywhere. You were doing that before it was cool and we had telesales because you were traveling,
Yeah.
seeing people in person. And then the second thing, I think what she said, guys, about just doing whatever it takes, whether it's referrals, it's, doing door knocks, it's posts on social media. Like when you get your business started as a business owner, you need a little bit of a boost to get you off the ground and get you to where you can invest. And so I love that with the whole referrals thing you said.
Yeah. I think I had built so much grit with my 2 years of failure, because when I was going in home, like I had a crappy old Volkswagen with no AC in the South Carolina heat, and I would go door knocking. I would miss appointments that didn't show up. I would drive 3 hours out of my way to go do my appointments. And when you go from that and not giving up when you're doing in home at that level to being able to do telesales at home, I just think there's a switch that flips, that like this is so simple, and like we are so blessed to be able to do this. And that's where I'm at now. Like there's just no stopping me at this point.
I love that. How was your transition from doing in-home to telesales?
It definitely takes a lot more discipline to make sure that you are executing your day properly. And that's where I've really had to implement organization. When I first started this, I was very pen to paper. I would print off all my leads. I would have like 10 file folders. I still have a file folder that I'm going through trying to like incorporate into my CRM. And I think the biggest thing at this point is your calendar and utilizing the CRMs that we have available to us. because the pen and paper system does not work. You cannot have thousands of leads and expect yourself to follow up with them just trying to organize things with like file folders. So I know that we have Zepo now, and I use DFY, which is like the same exact setup, and utilizing CRMs to like create drip campaigns and keep all of your clients' information in there and be able to see when you were contacting them last. So you're not like, did I call this person? What was their last text message? Having that all in one place is my biggest, most important resource at this point.
Absolutely. It helps you stay organized, but it also helps you track your clients. That way you can follow up with them in the future. Things like annual reviews and just client follow-ups in general. I love that. Jenny, talk about your lead flow, like when you first started to your lead flow now. What are you running? How much are you spending in leads, and so on and so forth?
So when I first got started, I was probably spending about $1,000 a week on instant leads in the FFL CRM. And at this point, I've been kind of switching back and forth between Nitro, Clever Closer, Smart Financial. I was doing live transfers at one point, but I don't think that's always the smartest way to go. So my big thing is I use between those 3 lead vendors, I take the leads that I get and I put them into my CRM and I create a drip campaign. So once they're downloaded, it automatically triggers to send them out the initial text message to book an appointment. And I've really found that like a percentage of your sale is actually made in your appointment booking process, which has really led to the success that I'm seeing now.
Yeah, I love
Awesome.
that. Someone yesterday was asking me, Jenny, like, how do I bring in like AI, like artificial intelligence in my business? And for you guys, if you're new and you don't have one of those CRM set up, I would definitely look at it, because just like Jenny said, it's something that you don't have to do. You set it and forget it, but it's going to nurture the leads and basically see who's interested, who's not. If I text someone and they say I'm not interested, then awesome. I'm not going to waste my time calling them over and over and over again, versus we can actually spend time with the leads that are truly interested and serious. So that's awesome. What do you, Jenny, you said you started around 1,000 and now recently, what have we been at? Like 1,500, 1,800? What does that look like?
I'm so addicted to buying leads because it's just been such a high ROI that I'd say probably 2,100 to 2,500 every week. It will just be dependent on how booked my calendar is. So if I feel like I don't have enough for the week, then I'll just go ahead and buy more leads and get myself set up for another day of sales.
Got it. Do you feel like it's easier going from 2,000 or so compared to the 1,000 when you were kind of just up and down with that roller coaster before?
Yes, it's 1,000% easier. I feel like I don't have any more anxiety within my day-to-day schedule because I have so many appointments booked, and that's simply because I have bought more leads. So my most successful weeks are when I'm buying the most leads, or at least just focusing on my calendar to make sure that I'm booked up. Because at this point, you know, I've hit that 2-month mark of being consistent. You also have your follow-ups that you have in your calendar. So that's filling up my week as well. But more leads are definitely better.
Yeah, definitely takes the pressure off. In terms of, you mentioned referrals, is that something that you're collecting every single appointment? And if so, kind of is it at the end, the start? What's kind of the pitch to go into collecting referrals?
Yeah, so it's definitely every appointment, and I do it at the end. I do feel like with booking these text appointments, like I'm really not getting a lot of kickback during my appointments. So I'm really building that relationship during that, 20 minutes to an hour. It just depends on what's going on. And I just asked them at the end, because we probably had a couple of laughs during that time period. And I'm like, hey, is there anybody else that that would benefit from life insurance? And they either say yes or no. And at least if I had planted that seed in their brain, sometimes I get people that will message me, a week, 2 weeks later, just asking or telling me, I found somebody that I'm sending your way. So
That's
definitely
awesome.
at the end of the appointment.
I love that. And if you guys don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's so simple to just like add that little line in at the end of every single presentation. It's going to give you at least an extra 1, 2, 3 free sales essentially, because you're not paying for those leads a month. So I encourage everyone to ask that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, guys, if we can literally the two things that we can do to get better by so much, like probably like double, triple production, referrals and asking the golden questions. So we're going for referrals, basically free sales if they give you family and friends, and then also seeing what they have that acts like life insurance, 401ks, IRAs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, that kind of thing, and talking about IULs and annuities. Next question, Jenny, someone asked here is how many appointments on average are you running now compared to before?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna open up my calendar. I'd say on a good week, 40 appointments a week.
40 appointments a week.
Yeah.
Nice.
What
And
was the other half of the question?
is that booked appointments? Or is that
Yeah.
like legit like not sat because we're doing telesales, but like actually went through the whole thing?
Booked appointments, I'd say that I have a 95% show rate on those too. Like that's, I know when we first started telesales, we were always pushing like book double what you want to actually show up because you're going to have more no-shows with telesales. But I've really found that like the structure of setting these appointments, these people are showing up. And I'd say most of the time, like if they didn't show up, they'll show up 5 minutes later because I shoot them a text. I'm like, hey, is this still a good time? And they're like, oh yeah, I just don't have my phone near me. So
nice. So over 30 appointments a week, guys, that is like the golden tip. And so it's like a kind of like an equation. How do I get 30 appointments a week? Well, there's 2 ways you can do it. Well, there's 3 ways you can do it. One is you can buy enough leads. 2 is you can collect referrals. And then 3 is you can just work extra hard. So dialing, texting, emailing, dripping, whatever you can do. So I love that. Jenny, for you, are there any, in terms of like the telesales process, give us like 2 tips that you really focus on or things that you say that you think clients like and it kind of gets you to that point where they're understanding and they're ready to purchase from you?
Like I was talking about with the text messages, I think it's really important to just get them off on the right track, making sure that they set an alarm in their phone when they book an appointment with you. And then once you're in the appointment, the biggest thing that I have really worked on is making sure that I sound more and more professional as the days go on with getting into higher level sales. And I'm coming across more clients that have more money to work with. They're looking to invest. If we're talking about annuities, you want to sound like a financial professional, not just a final expense agent. So being able to have that tonality and just, educating yourself on the products that you're selling, that's huge when you're talking to higher end clients and even lower end clients, just to make them feel more secure that you know what you're doing with that sale. You build instant trust when you just sound spot on about what you're talking about. And what I have found a lot lately with the IULs is that so many people are like, why has nobody ever told me about this? Like they feel like it's maybe a little scammy because they've never heard about it. And it's simply because most life insurance agents do not know what they can do with their license as a whole. So they're just not educated on it. So definitely becoming educated on what you can sell and just be yourself. Like I think we always say that tonality is really big, and it is, but like you don't just have to be, a sales professional on the phone. If you have a grumpy old man, yes, follow his flow and probably don't crack too many jokes because he doesn't want to hear it. But most of the time, like I can just be my bubbly self on the phone and people love it. So be authentic and it's going to shine through your sale.
That's huge. I think what you mentioned about using and educating yourself on your entire license, like I think a lot of people stick to what they're comfortable with, which is final expense and mortgage protection. And I think it's really, really good to study those products and know more about IULs and annuities in order to utilize your entire license. I mean, you already passed the exam, you've already come this,
Yeah.
you might as well ask those additional questions in order to get yourself more sales, which is awesome. What would you say to like the newest agent? Because you're extremely confident, you are amazing at what you do. What's like your biggest tip for the newest agent to build that confidence and to kind of learn more about the products, to feel more confident when talking to a client on the phone?
Honestly, watch training videos on YouTube. Before I got licensed, that's all I did. I ate, I slept, and I watched FFL training videos, and I still do. And, you know, going into my first appointment, I felt like I already did it because I had watched so many videos. Like I was obsessed with watching YouTube, and I would watch all the Andrew Taylor interviews, and it's just education, and it really builds your confidence when you watch somebody do the same thing over and over and over again, because a lot of the times with those interviews and trainings, it's the same structure and you're just learning you know, different word tracks and stuff from an agent that does something a little bit differently. So if you can keep watching those, you're going to pick agents that you resonate with and like you feel like their energy matches yours. And that's going to build your confidence, because you're gonna be like, oh, I can do that. Like I don't have to do it that way. That person does something in a way that makes me feel more comfortable. And, you know, that even comes down to just aligning yourself energetically with your workspace. Like I enjoy being by myself in my little cozy office, and that works for me. But other people really enjoy going into the office and they vibe with that energy of being around people. So know who you are and know where you need to be, because you're going to be most confident in an environment that really aligns with yourself.
Amen.
I love
Jenny, are you going to be cruising here come November?
Yes. Will just asked me the other day. He's like, do I get to go? I was like, heck yeah.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
And Jenny, hopefully you don't mind me sharing, but Jenny said, dude, I'm crushing it. My husband, he does very well too. And if he keeps on seeing me crush it and crush it and crush it, it won't be too long until Will is joining us and we have
Yes.
another power couple.
Hey, once he gets on that cruise and he's around like 200 other top producers, he's gonna be like, yeah, I'm doing this. What am I doing?
Absolutely. It'll be game over.
Hey, that's
Awesome.
awesome.
Well, Jenny, this has been amazing. Guys, rewatch this. So hopefully you guys took a bunch of notes with a bunch of gems in there. Jenny, let's finish off with one, goals for the rest of the year, and then two, if someone's watching this, they want to work with you, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah. So, you know, I've only been back in this for 2 months, but I am shooting for Hall of Fame. So let's just keep chugging along for that. You never know what can happen. And if anybody wants to contact me, you can just text or call me directly at 251-979-7916.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenny.
Awesome. Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.